I told this lady a story about a prophecy of my father's years ago. In 1919, at the turn of the year, I can see my father at the head of the table, and all of his children sitting there, and he said to my mother, there will be a war in 20 years, we'll see. It will be in the fall. Germany will again be at war with England. Japan will be in it, and Russia and Italy. America will be our great ally. My mother looked around the table at her sons and said, my boys will be of the age to go to that war. What are you talking about? He said, it will be true, and already all the ship sergeants discussing it. He was a ship's chandler and talked with many people. My father did not know that this power he had of imagining as God. He could take a man or woman or a community and see them so vividly in imagining in his own living room that they became objective to him, and afterwards find them coming to his office to propose what he had inwardly set in motion. But he did not identify that power that creates his world with this supreme power that he called God. Ever since the creation of the world, his invisible nature, his eternal power, has been clearly perceived in the things that have been made. My father saw everything is made. He discussed a program with a man, and afterward, the man comes to him and proposes the deal that my father had already closed in his imagination. But he did not identify it with God, that exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal man, and served the creature rather than the creator. Everyone here, your invisible presence is God. But if you imagine money into being and you make 1,000,000, suddenly you worship the million, not the power that made it possible. You enter a certain social circle, and then you forget that you brought it into being by imagining. And now you think this group is what is all important. So man forgets and exchanges the glory of the immortal God for the image of a mortal man or something that vanishes. For everything visible will vanish. But you will not vanish. Even this great land will one day be washed by the sea, but you will not be. That which brought things into being cannot cease to be. So we are warned. I told this lady about my father, and she said, your father did that in 1919. But I will go back to 1919, and my father said, I do not want to buy a paper because I can see the headlines. And they say war. He was so determined and convinced that he would not buy one for weeks. And when he did finally buy it, the headline said, war. Then the lady asked if her father's attitude towards the sister's husband had determined what happened, and whether she should continue helping her sister, who was always in need. Yes, it determined what happened, but now it could be changed radically. Give to the sister if she needs help. But then I told her that this power is all imagining, and it is one to use with our own wonderful imagination. There is only one. We do not differ in nature or substance from it, but only in degree of intensity. If we could imagine anything in the world and not swerve and not turn and give all glory to this power called God, nothing could keep it from coming into being. God speaks to man through the language of dreams, that I do not have to go to sleep to dream. I can imagine something for you and desire it with all my heart. If I imagine something for another, that is God speaking to me. I do not have to see a face. There is such a difference between what the churches call God and what the mystic knows is God. Blake speaks of Christianity in the last chapter of his great work, Jerusalem. He breaks it into 4 chapters, like the 4 rivers, etc. And he tells us, I give you the end of a golden string. Only wind it into a ball. It will lead you in at heaven's gate, built in Jerusalem's wall. And then he defines Christianity. Articles of faith. He completely discounts them. He says, I know no other Christianity and of no other gospel than the liberty of both body and mind to exercise the divine art of imagination.